Welcome to the pod Biomanufacturing and Fermentation Technology. In this episode, we translate microbial science, process engineering, and manufacturing realities into insights that scale.
Welcome to the deep dive. If you're joining us today, you probably want to gain some actionable knowledge, and you want it quickly without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Right. Nobody wants to sit through a dry textbook lecture.
Exactly. So today, our mission is to dig into this incredibly concise, high-impact industrial playbook. It's titled Precision CIP Optimization and Sterility Acceleration.
Quite the title.
It is a mouthful, but I want you to just imagine for a second overhauling a heavy industrial process to save 4 to 6 hours per cycle.
Per batch cycle, which is a massive chunk of time.
Huge. And while you're at it, you're cutting water and chemical use by 20%. And here is the real hook. You are doing all of this in just 7 days.
7 days, without compromising an ounce of safety or sterility.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because when I first read those numbers, I was pretty skeptical.
It's totally fair to be skeptical. While the source material we're looking at today is brief, the implications for manufacturing efficiency are just massive. You have to remember, in heavy industry like biomanufacturing or food and beverage efficiency gains are usually measured in fractions of a percent.
Right. People fight for years for a 2% improvement.
Exactly. They spend millions on new equipment. So a framework promising sweeping double-digit improvements in turnaround time in a matter of days. It sounds almost impossible.
Which brings us to the core challenge of the text. They are talking about reducing the clean-in-place, or CIP, turnaround time by a staggering 40%.
Yeah, a 40% cut.
And for anyone dealing with these systems, proposing a 40% cut usually sets off massive alarm bells. Because the instinct is, well, if you speed up the cleaning, you're obviously cutting corners.
And that is the delicate balancing act mentioned right in the source. You are trying to achieve this incredible speed without compromising sterility. Because in any production environment, sterility is non-negotiable.
Right. If a system isn't sterile,
the next batch is entirely ruined. You get product recalls, facility shutdowns, millions of dollars lost. So you can't just turn up a dial to make the pumps run faster.
you need a verifiable framework. And that is what the playbook introduces as the solution kit.
The 7-day sprint.
Yes, the 7-day sprint. It's an actionable sprint. This is not a multi-year CapEx overhaul where you tear down the factory and rebuild the pipes.
Right. It's an operational overlay. It's about optimizing the infrastructure you already have in place, which is why it can actually be deployed in just 7 days of physical integration.
So let's get into the actual tactics. Tactic 1 tackles the rinse cycle. And to kind of visualize the old way of doing this, it's like, well, think about washing a soapy pan at home.
Okay.
You've got this sudsy pan, you hold it under the tap, and you just sort of let the water run until you think it's clean.
You're just guessing based on time.
Exactly. You give it an extra 10 seconds just to be safe. And industrial facilities basically do the same thing, just on a massive scale.
They rely on fixed timers. The engineers calculate the absolute worst-case scenario for washing out chemical residues, say 20 minutes, and they set the timer for 20 minutes every single time.
Even if the pipe is actually perfectly clean in 8 minutes.
Exactly. The pumps just keep running, sending thousands of gallons of perfectly clean water straight down the drain.
Which brings us to the first step of the 7-day kit, installing turbidity sensors on the CIP return line.
What's fascinating here is how this instantly eliminates all that wasted time and water. You are replacing human guesswork, or those static timers, with precise real-time data.
Because the sensor is basically acting as a literal eye.
Right. An eye inside the pipe. It uses an optical measurement, usually nephelometric turbidity units, or NTU, to evaluate how clear the fluid is.
So it's constantly watching the water come back from the rinse.
Continuously. And the moment that sensor sees that the NTU reading has dropped to a baseline of pure, clear water, it talks to the control system and just stops the rinse cycle immediately.
It stops the water exactly when it runs clear. No extra 10-minute safety buffer.
None. Because you don't need a time buffer when you have physical, real-time proof that the system is clean.
That is such a simple but brilliant pivot. You just watch the water.
It really is.
But the water is only one part of the cleaning phase. You also have the actual chemical wash. And the text brings up a very specific adversary here, stubborn protein films.
The absolute bane of heavy biomanufacturing.
Yeah, this is the grime, the stuff that bakes onto the reactor walls and heat exchangers.
It's heavily adhered organic load.
Right. So tactic 2 in our solution kit is a chemical pivot. The playbook says to switch away from traditional commodity chemistry and use a single-pass enzyme-based detergent.
And that term, single pass, is the crucial detail here.
Unpack that for us. Why is single-pass such a big deal?
Because the old way relies on multi-step chemical washes and endless scrubbing cycles, you'd pump in highly aggressive, high pH caustic chemicals to blindly dissolve the organic matter.
Which takes a lot of time.
A lot of time and a massive amount of thermal energy to heat those chemicals up to like 80 degrees Celsius. And then, because you used such harsh alkaline chemicals, you have to do a neutralizing acid wash afterward.
So it's just wash after wash after wash.
Exactly. But this specific enzyme detergent changes the game. Enzymes are specialized biological catalysts. They don't just blindly burn everything away.
They are targeted.
Highly targeted. These specific enzymes literally target the peptide bonds in the protein structures and just cleave them apart.
So instead of doing 3 or 4 different aggressive chemical washes,
the single-pass enzyme is designed to strip the protein away in one go. You dramatically accelerate the cleaning phase.
and I imagine you save a ton of energy too, right? Since you aren't heating up giant tanks of caustic chemicals.
Oh, absolutely. Enzymes work at much lower temperatures, usually around 50 degrees Celsius. So you slash your heating time, you skip the acid neutralization phase entirely, and your turnaround schedule just compresses.
Okay, so Tactic 1 uses sensors to optimize the rinse. Tactic 2 uses enzymes to speed up the wash. That covers the clean-in-place part. But then we hit the sterilization phase.
Right, the SETI. Steam in place.
And the playbook introduces this incredibly ominous-sounding concept. Dead legs.
They sound scary, and honestly, to a facility manager, they are.
So what exactly is a dead leg?
Well, when you sterilize a system, you push high-pressure steam through all the pipes to kill any remaining microorganisms. The whole system has to reach a specific temperature, like 121 degrees Celsius.
To guarantee sterility.
Right. But pipes aren't just one perfect continuous loop. You have little branch-offs, instrumentation ports, sample valves, these little offshoots where steam doesn't actively flow through.
So the steam just sort of hits a dead end.
Exactly. Those are your dead legs. They're danger zones. Because steam doesn't flow through them well, they can trap cold air or pool with condensation.
Meaning they don't get hot enough.
Which means they might not reach that lethal sterilization temperature. And if even one tiny dead leg harbors surviving bacteria, the moment you start your next production run...
the whole batch is contaminated.
Precisely. So to compensate, facilities usually just run the steam cycle for way longer than necessary, just hoping the heat eventually conducts down into those dead legs.
Oversteaming. Wasting all that time and energy again.
Exactly.
But Tactic 3 in our playbook offers a visual investigation instead. It mandates mapping these dead legs using thermal imaging during the active CIP process.
It's a brilliant diagnostic tool.
I just love the visual of this. You've got engineers walking through a maze of hot pipes on a factory floor with thermal cameras, literally hunting for cold spots.
They are looking at the thermal data in real time. They can see the sharp temperature gradient where a main pipe is glowing hot on the camera, but the dead leg branch is clearly showing up as a cold zone.
So instead of guessing, you just look at the heat map.
You see it instantly, and by identifying and mapping these dead legs, the engineers can go in and make targeted physical adjustments. Maybe they insulate a specific valve or change the slope of a pipe so it drains better.
And how does that tie back to the core mission of the playbook, speeding things up?
By fixing those cold spots, the facility ensures faster, uniform heating. And uniform heating is the absolute bedrock of guaranteeing sterility while moving at high speeds.
Because if you have visual proof that every single pipe and dead leg is getting hot at the same time,
you don't have to run a 90-minute buffer cycle. You hit the temperature, you hold it for the required time, and you're done.
Which brings us to the grand reveal. The quick win payoff.
The numbers.
Yeah, the hard numbers. When you pull all 3 of these tactics together, the turbidity sensors, the single-pass enzymes, and the thermal mapping, the playbook says you save 4 to 6 hours per batch cycle.
It is an astronomical gain.
And a 20% reduction in water and chemical consumption. So what does this all mean? Let's just think about the compounding nature of those numbers.
Right, do the math on that.
If you save 4 to 6 hours on every single batch, over a week, over a month, you're basically unlocking entirely new production runs. You're making more product without adding a single new machine.
And while you are getting a massive win for time and production, you are also getting that 20% reduction in water and chemicals. That is a massive win for sustainability and cost.
It's huge.
Yeah.
You're sending way less harsh chemistry down the drain into the wastewater treatment plant.
It proves that you can optimize for speed and optimize for sustainability at the exact same time. It's a dual victory.
I love that. All right, let's do a quick recap of this deep dive. We started with the old, way cloudy water return lines, endless blind timers, guessing if the soapy pan was clean.
Right.
And we traced the journey to the smart way, real-time sensors, targeted biological enzymes, all the way to thermal map steam pipes, ensuring total sterility.
It really just proves that massive efficiency leaps don't always require tearing down the whole factory and starting over.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just require smarter observation tools and better chemistry. You just have to look at the system differently.
And that leads perfectly into a final thought I want to leave with you today as you go about your own work. If simple visibility, like a sensor detecting clear water or a thermal camera seeing a cold pipe can, instantly unlock a 40% efficiency gain in heavy industry, what invisible bottlenecks in your own daily workflow could be eliminated just by finding the right way to look at them?
That is a great question to mull over.
Uncovering those blind spots really can change everything. Thank you so much for joining us for today's deep dives. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Biomanufacturing and Fermentation Technology with Prasad Ernala. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, keep engineering biology into reliable manufacturing.